shock, heartbreak, and a sea of orange. Today, Syracuse came together to say goodbye to one of its greatest legends. And as the community mourned Lawrence Moten, the all-time leading scorer in Syracuse basketball history, laid to rest at only 53 years old, the emotions inside and outside the service spoke louder than any statistic ever could, because this was not just about a player, but about a man who embodied dedication, humility, and an unshakable bond with the city and its fans. The news of Moten's death sent shockwaves through the basketball world, and the funeral quickly became a gathering of not only Syracuse supporters, but also players, coaches, alumni, and admirers from around the nation, all converging to pay their respects to a man who, though known as the silent assassin on the court, carried a presence that resonated far beyond the box scores. Fans packed the streets near the church early in the morning, forming long lines of orange-clad mourners, many proudly wearing the number 21 jersey that Moten had made famous during his legendary career from 1991 to 1995. And as the doors opened, the sanctuary filled with a powerful mixture of sorrow and celebration. Sorrow because of the untimely loss, and celebration because Lawrence Moten's life was one worth honoring. Remembered not only for the 2,334 points he scored as Syracuse's all-time leading scorer, not only for holding the record as the Big East Conference's career scoring leader, but for the way he inspired others with his quiet leadership, consistency, and humility. The ceremony itself was filled with profound emotion. Orange flowers lined the altar, a symbolic reminder of the team colors and the bond Moten shared with the program, while large screens displayed highlight clips from his record-breaking career. Each basket drawing cheers and tears alike from those watching, because every made shot carried with it a flood of memories for fans who had lived through the glory days of Syracuse basketball. Heartfelt prayers echoed through the church as pastors and family members guided the congregation through reflection, and one could feel the weight of history in the room, a recognition that Lawrence Moten was not just another athlete, but a once-in-a-generation figure whose name will forever be woven into the fabric of Syracuse's identity. Former teammates took to the podium, voices breaking as they shared stories of locker room jokes, grueling practices, and unforgettable games, reminding everyone that behind the statistics was a man of laughter, generosity, and loyalty, someone who cared about the people around him and never let the spotlight change who he was. Coaches described him as the definition of reliability, a player who could be counted on to rise in critical moments, but who never demanded praise for doing what came naturally to him. And friends described him as the silent assassin, a man who let his game do the talking, who never sought attention, but whose presence was always felt, not only on the court, but in every interaction he had with teammates, students, and young athletes who looked up to him. Family members in deeply emotional eulogies remembered him not as the star athlete, but as the devoted father and mentor, the man who offered guidance, encouragement, and love, who made sure his family knew that no matter how bright the lights of the Carrier Dome or the NBA might be, they were always his foundation and his reason to keep pushing. One speaker noted with deep conviction that Moten's legacy is not only etched in Syracuse history, but also in the countless lives he touched with his generosity, humility, and quiet strength, pointing out that while records may someday be broken, the mark he left on people will endure forever. As the service continued, the crowd was reminded again and again of the scope of his influence. From his childhood in Washington, D.C., to his dominance at Syracuse, to his time in the NBA with the Vancouver Grizzlies and overseas, to his return to Syracuse as a mentor and leader, his story was a journey of perseverance and love for the game. But more importantly, it was a journey of giving back to those who supported him, whether by inspiring young players at camps, mentoring students at the university, or simply shaking hands with fans who wanted to thank him for unforgettable memories. The crowd wept openly as highlight reels showed Moten draining clutch jumpers, breaking records with effortless grace, and raising his hands in victory while the Carrier Dome erupted. But they also smiled through tears as clips of his interviews showed the humility and calm demeanor that made him so admired. When the final prayer ended and the casket was carried out draped in Syracuse orange, something remarkable happened. The crowd outside, thousands strong, spontaneously broke into a chant of, "Let's go Orange," their voices echoing through the streets like a final standing ovation. A final tribute to a player, W.